students in grade 12, good afternoon. Welcome to our English seminar for today, in which we are going to talk about Unit 12 in your student book and in your activity book. Before I start the seminar, let me first welcome my colleagues who are going to participate in it. Ms. Hanan Katakji, an English teacher from Hama City. Good afternoon, Ms. Hanan.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for coming and joining us.
Yes, thanks. It's my duty.
You are welcome.
Thanks.
And Mr. Bassem Sarhan, an English teacher from Damascus. Good afternoon, Mr. Bassem.
Good afternoon, Ms. Umayna. Thank you for this chance.
You are welcome. Dear, you know that in Unit 12, there are many things to speak about, like the reading test, we have the writing, we have the listening and speaking. Let's first focus and go to the laptop in order to start our session. Before I start, please, if you have any question, any query in your student and in your activity book, please call. You have the number phone below the screen. So let's start here and move to the laptop, please, in order to start the seminar in Unit 12. Well, dear, in Unit 12, you know that we are going to speak about geniuses, and we have some elements in this unit, in the student and the activity book. The elements, I'm going first to speak about grammar. You know that in grammar we have the adding information. This rule, the adding information, we'll speak about it first, then we will move to the reading in the student and in the activity book. Well, in the laptop, please. Well, in the grammar, you know that this, which focuses on the adding information using participle, and you know that we add information by using clauses, relative and relative pronouns. We know that in Unit 12 we have to speak about some vocabularies, some new vocabs. We have prepositions and phrases. We have nouns and adjectives. This unit speaks about reading for guests and specific information. We have the text referencing. This is in Unit 12. Also, we have other things to speak about in it. We have listening to short conversations, speaking. Students should learn how to listen, to understand what they are listening to, should learn how to speak, to explain solutions, explaining solutions to logical problems. Well, we have the writing. At the end of the unit, we have the writing. Students should be able to write a letter of recommendations. All of this in the Unit 12. Well, dear colleagues, in this unit, we have as I said, the grammar focuses on adding information and speaking about the relative and the ing clause. Would you please, Ms. Hanan, start the session telling us about adding information? What do you mean by adding information? What should the student do? Yes, please.
Okay. Adding information is, of course, by using the relative clauses. Relative clauses are used to add information to describe the noun that precedes them. Also, we can reduce these clauses, of course, into ing form, also in the same way to add information. So instead of using many clauses, we can use the ing form. So the ing form here replaces the relative clauses to make the sentences shorter and to make two sentences as one.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So instead of using several short sentences, we add extra information to existing sentences. In this way, the relative clauses, as you said, Ms. Hanan,
yes,
and the verbs ending in the ing. Yes. Would you please, Mr. Bassem, clarify the idea?
Okay, now we have some examples here. He is now a PhD student in Bangalore doing high-level research. The sentence is divided into two sections.
Right.
The first one is stable. We don't have to move it. We have to start the second one by a verb with an ing form to make a whole sentence with a full meaning.
That's right.
Yes.
Thank you. So yes, please.
Yes, I have another example. He received coaching from Kasparov, one of the greatest chess players and geniuses of all time.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
it's shown on the laptop, right. He received coaching from Kasparov, one of the greatest chess players and geniuses of all time. That's right. Thank you.
That's how to add information. we have to repeat the sentence by using ing form like that. He received coaching from Kasparov, who is or who was one of the greatest chess players and geniuses of all time.
Well, what did you do when you add information?
Yeah,
Would you please clarify?
I replaced the person who we are talking about by a relative pronoun,
Yes.
and we gave another information to explain more about him.
That's right. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, do we have other sentences?
Yes, at the age of 19, he was ranked #1 in the world, becoming the youngest player to be awarded this title. Now we started our second sentence by a verb with an ing
Yes.
to add more information to the first one.
So we say becoming. Yes, becoming the youngest player.
Yeah, the second sentence should be or should start by a verb added, which needs to be added an ing preceded by a comma. We should put a comma before the verb.
Yes.
The D, he began playing the piano at the age of 5 and was immediately recognized for his immense talent and musical ability.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sorry for the interruption, but
Yes.
we have a phone call. Yes, please. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Lama.
Yes,
Yes, good afternoon, Lama. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm fine, thank you. Yes, Lama, are you following?
Yes,
Yes, thank you for, I hope, and I wish, sorry?
yes,
I don't want to interrupt you. Yes, please, you have a question?
yes. I want
please.
to ask you about the page 96, student book.
96, student book. Yes, you are welcome. What's your question in
yes.
96 in the student book?
Exercise 1 and 2.
You need the answers to exercises number 1 and 2.
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, dear Lama, we are explaining the adding information here. This is in Unit 12, and the exercise, we are going to speak about them. But you are welcome. My dear colleague are going to answer your question. Yes, please.
Okay.
The exercise number 1, please.
Yes, dear Lama, my sister is we have ability between two brackets. Now we should change it into an adjective. We should say my sister is a very able student.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay. B, to my amazement, I got over 90% in the exam.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
C, many children find young animals very appealing.
Yes.
D, when he said she was leaving, we just stared at her in astonishment.
Yes.
Are you following me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I've never been very good at mathematics.
Okay.
Okay. F, I enjoy listening to all kinds of music.
Yes.
Good. Sport has increased greatly in popularity in recent years.
Okay.
Okay. The more you practice, the more skillful you will become.
Yes.
Is that good?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Basim.
You're welcome.
You need exercise number 2. Yes, please,
Yes.
Ms. Hanan, would you
Yes.
please? And I'm moving to the laptop in order to follow. Dear student, please, if you are following, you can see the laptop. And
This exercise is about the prepositions.
yes,
First, child prodigies are children who demonstrate talents at a very young age. You must be careful that with at a very young age is a certain or a fixed expression. It should be like this. Mathematical geniuses are often able to do complicated calculations in their heads.
are you, sorry for interruption. Are you following, Lama? In, you notice? In. Would you please, when you fill in spaces, let's repeat the proposition
So,
for our students?
Space 2, in their heads.
Okay.
Number 3, in just a few seconds. These are fixed expressions. So this is particularly remarkable when the numbers they are dealing with have been selected at random. At random is an idiom. Musical geniuses like Mozart are often able to learn to play any pieces of music on a variety of instruments very quickly. About on here, when we say play a musical instrument, the preposition should be on. Mozart was certainly the most talented composer of his time, but many people believe he was really a hard worker, not a genius, and he died in 1791. Again here, in 1791, because with years we use the preposition in. Some people said that the overwork was the cause of his death. Here we have what we call in English genitive. To add two nouns together, we link them with the preposition of.
Thank you very much.
You're
Thank you. Have you got the answers, dear Lama? Are you with us? Okay, thank you very much, dear colleagues. Let's go back to explaining the adding information, the grammar. Yes?
Okay. About adding information.
Yes?
Yeah. Here we have a question. It is about which part of sentence contains the most important information, the first or the second part. It should be, of course, the first, because the first contains, as Mr. Bassem said, we have two sections, the first and the second. The first contains the main idea, and when we add the information in the second part. So the most important part is the first part.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Yes, please. Would you please, Mr. Bassem, continue?
What is the purpose of the other part of each sentence? The purpose of the other part is to add information to the first one. That's it.
That's it, thank you. And we have another question, yes?
Which word in each sentence links the two parts? The linking word is in the second part. The verb is returned to its space form by adding ing. We use it, of course, to link or to add, information. We add it at the end of the first sentence.
Thank you very much. So, because before the phone call, we were explaining and giving examples to clarify the idea, and here are these questions which are related to our sentences.
Yes.
So you said that the first part of the sentence is the most important, which contains the information, and we have this part. Now, which word of each sentence links the two parts? You told us, Ms. Hanan, thank you very much. Well, this is all about adding information. No, it's not all about them. Now, let's complete and clarify the idea by giving more sentences for our students. Yes, Mr. Bassem.
I have a sentence. He is now a PhD student in Bangalore. Where? Where is a relative pronoun?
Yes,
it's
right.
used to indicate place. Now, the solution is, he is now a PhD student in Bangalore, where he is doing high-level research.
Thank you very much. So you complete, you add information.
We added some information
to
support
the sentence.
The first sentence.
Thank you very much. To support and to give extra information and a meaning. Yes, please, Ms. Hanan.
Another example. He received coaching from Kasparov, who. Also, who here is a relative pronoun. It is used in the case of subject for persons. So we should include or add information about Kasparov. So we say who is the most genius chess player in the world or all over the world.
Thank you very much.
C, at the age of 19, he was ranked #1 in the world, which goes back to #1.
Yes, right.
Now we have to add some information to enrich the sentence. Now we say which made him the youngest player to be awarded this title.
Thank you very much. You're complete by using a relative pronoun. Now we have another phone call. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Are you following?
Yes.
Yes, you are welcome. Do you have a question?
Yes, please.
Would you please speak up?
I want to ask you about exercise number 1 and 2 in page 73 in activity book.
In the activity book?
Yes.
Which page, please speak up?
73.
73. You are welcome. Follow us, please, and you will receive the answers. Yes, of course. In the activity book, page 73, dear
The first one?
Yes, number 1 and 2. He needs the answers of these two exercises.
Yes.
Number 1 and 2. Follow us, please, and you will have everything you need.
What's his name?
Ali.
Ali, follow me, please.
Yes.
I left the office at midday, planning to meet my friend Mazen for lunch. I arrived at our usual meeting place and waited, expecting my friend to arrive at any minute. After about half an hour, I began to worry. Okay?
Okay.
Thinking that Mazen might have been involved in an accident. I tried ringing him several times, eventually leaving a message on his answering machine. After waiting, the fifth verb, for nearly an hour, I decided that Mazen was not going to come. So I went back to work. I sat down at my desk, feeling very hungry because I hadn't had any lunch. Then my phone rang. It was Mazen apologizing for having missed lunch. My fears were correct. He had a car accident and he was phoning from the hospital. I repeat the verbs for you. The first one is planning. Are you
Okay.
listening to me?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
would you please, Mr. Bassem, clarify the word plan?
Plan,
is
yes.
going to be written, you know.
Planning, we added ing to the verb and we doubled the last letter. Okay, because the last N is preceded by a vowel.
Are you following, Ali, dear?
Yes, I'm following.
Yes, you notice that Mr. Bassem is telling you that when you put this verb, you double the last letter. You double it, plan, double N, then you add the ing. Okay? Okay, thank you. Yes, please. Sorry for the interruption,
No,
but
it's okay.
I need to clarify.
The second verb is expecting. 3, thinking. 4, leaving. 5, waiting. 6, feeling. And 7, apologizing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. This is all for number 1. Is it clear, dear? Is it clear, dear Ali? Well, we are moving now to exercise number 2, in which you are going to rewrite, and Ms. Hanan
Yeah.
is going to answer this exercise. Yes,
Thank you.
please.
The first one is already done. They say here an Indian man correctly calculated the square root of 6-digit number. The second sentence, he took 1 minute, 3.8 seconds. This is, of course, after doing it, after making or using the ing form. They say the Indian man correctly calculated the square root of a 6-digit number, taking 1 minute, 3.5 seconds. So we reduce the form of the second clause, and the verb took is returned into its first form and add the ing.
Thank you.
And a note, we must use the comma before the ing form.
That's
this is
right.
necessary.
So, are you with us, please, Ali? Do you hear that you should put a comma before writing, before doing this, before saying taking? We should put a comma.
Yeah.
It's very
At the end
necessary.
of the first sentence.
Yes.
Yes.
Number B, an American holds the world record for sending text messages. He typed a text of 160 letters on his mobile phone in less than a minute. Also, we can join the two as one. Sorry. So we reduce here by omitting he. Typed is returned into its space form, then we add the ing. By the way, we drop or we omit the letter E when we add the ing form. The ing form is preceded by a comma, or we replace the full stop by a comma.
Would you please read this sentence?
As one?
Yes, please, as one.
Okay. An American holds the world record for sending a text message, typing a text of 160 letters on his mobile phone in less than a minute.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I need to interrupt you. We have a phone call. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yes, Good afternoon, Sana.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Good afternoon, Ms. Hannah.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Yes, please.
Thank you. I have 3 questions.
Yes?
First, why do we use the ing form to connect the sentences?
When to use the ing form to connect the sentences?
Okay. Second, is there any specific rule for the prepositions? And third, to write about a Chinese person, what information should we add?
Yes. Yes, Ms. Hanan is going to answer you. Yes,
Okay.
you are
Yes, Sana.
welcome. Listen, please, carefully.
She first asked, why do we use the ing form? We use the ing form to add information, or in other words, to connect 2 sentences to make them as one, by using the ing form. The second question was about prepositions. There is no fixed rule about prepositions. They should be memorized by heart. Even the native speakers do this. So they match a word with a preposition, either an adjective with a preposition, a verb with a preposition, or other things, of course. So these are like collocations, or as we say, fixed structures.
Sometimes students ask if we have days, the days of the week, we have
Yeah.
certain preposition to
Yeah,
add
for
with.
example,
What
on.
is it? On.
On.
So
With
with the
month.
days of the week, we put on.
Okay, with months in, with years in, with seasons in.
So in, with the years, with
Yeah.
the season,
Yeah.
with month.
This is with time. But
Yes.
also we have prepositions with the place, of
With the
course,
place.
fixed prepositions. But also we have prepositions which are joined by, as I said, with adjectives, not just for a place or something like this, with nouns, with adjectives, with verbs.
That's right.
So they should be memorized. I told you, the native speakers do the same. They match this word with this preposition, and they memorize them by heart.
Very nice. Well, dear Sana, I'd like to ask you this question. Is there any proposition you would like to talk about or to ask about, or all the propositions, as Ms. Hanan said, we memorize them, but you know that there are certain things for our students in order to understand, in order to know how to deal with propositions. Some of them sometimes get confused when dealing with the propositions. There are certain rules they need to know, simply speaking.
Yeah, as we said, with nouns, with first about time, with days on, with dates on, with months in, with years in, with seasons in, sometimes at, and we have many other rules, of course, but these are fixed.
Well,
and also with the places of time, place, we have fixed expressions. Also, they should be learned by heart. So when we say in the morning, in the afternoon, on Monday, on Tuesday, on the 1st of January, so these are fixed.
Yes, there are things which are fixed. When we say at 6 o'clock, at 5 o'clock, at, we use at when we speak about this, when we speak about this time. When we say at the age of 20, in his head. So there are, yes, would you like to add?
Yes,
This is an idiom, of course, at random, etc. Yeah.
That's right. Yes, please, Mr. Bassem.
There are certain verbs like live. For example, if I live in a city, I should say I live in, on a farm, at a zoo, arrive in Damascus, I arrived at the airport. These prepositions are fixed. You should, students should memorize them,
That's
because
right.
there is no basic rule.
That's right. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank you,
Well,
sir.
we have another phone call. Yes, please. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Hadi. Good afternoon. Yes, we are here ready to answer your questions. Do you hear us? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, would you please speak up? Would you please speak up?
Is there a certain way to learn propositions?
A certain way to learn propositions, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yes, Ms. Hanan, well, it's not a problem.
A problem for them. But when they learn how to memorize them, how to use them, of course it will not be a problem. As we said, there are fixed expressions. When they memorize them or learn them by heart, it's okay. So when they know that it, at, for example, with time, in with parts of the day, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, when we use, as he said, for example, arrive in, arrive at, it depends if the place is small or big. So there is no fixed rule. I think they should match a word with the preposition.
Thank you very much. Is it clear, dear? Is it clear, the answers about prepositions? You know, we were talking about prepositions. We talked about preposition of time and of place. We said that there is no fixed rule. There are no fixed rules, but we have to memorize them. But at the same time, there are certain prepositions used in certain ways. Or, as I said, with the days of the week, we use on. Is it clear? When we speak about the month, we use in. So there are prepositions, you know, simply speaking, that they are used this way. If you have any definite preposition to ask about, we are ready to answer. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, let's go back to the sentences
yes.
we were talking about.
We have, he began playing the piano at the age of 5. Immediately, we add information by saying he was recognized for his immense talent.
Thank you
So,
very much.
okay.
Yes.
As a child prodigy, on tours of Europe, he played his own compositions. We added a new sentence as a kind of new information
Thank you very
to
much.
the first one.
Would you please repeat it by adding
Yes.
after
As
adding
a
the
child
information?
prodigy,
Yes.
on tours of Europe, he played his own compositions.
Yes.
That's the whole sentence.
Thank you very much. Well, yes, Ms. Hanan.
We have here more examples about the ing form to add information. He could beat adults in memory games involving numbers. So, involving numbers, add information about the first sentence.
You mean involving numbers is to add this? This is a verb which adds information to the sentence.
Yes.
She could beat adults in memory games involving numbers.
Yes, exactly.
That's right. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Bassem.
He is now a PhD student in India. Now we should use a comma here, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Doing high-level research.
Yes. We shouldn't forget the comma here.
Yes, before the ing form.
Before the ing, before the word doing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Another example. She won her first gold medal at the age of 13, becoming the youngest Olympic champion ever. So becoming here, I mean becoming the youngest Olympic champion ever is a clause that, a phrase that adds information to the first sentence.
Thank you.
Okay.
In his first match, he scored 3 goals, beating the previous record. Now we start with the second sentence with a verb with an ing.
That's right. Thank you. So we notice these verbs involving, doing, becoming, beating. We put a comma before these words, and they add information to the sentences.
Yes.
That's right. Yes, we continue our speaking about, or our speech about, our session about adding information and this grammar.
Okay.
Yes, I think we have a sentence here. Yes, Ms. Hanan? Or
I have 2 sentences here.
Okay.
Yes.
Muhannad trained hard for the competition. He ran 3,000 meters every evening for 6 months.
Okay.
Now how to add new information to the sentence. Follow me, please. Muhannad trained hard for the competition. Now the second sentence starts with he ran. Now we delete he and return ran from the past to the present or to its base form.
Exactly.
Then we add an ing form. We shouldn't forget that we have to double the last letter,
Yes.
N. The sentence is like that. Muhannad trained hard for the competition, running 3,000 meters every evening for 6 months. Now, also, we shouldn't forget to use a comma before the first verb in the second sentence.
Which is running. Thank you very much. So we have Muhannad in the first sentence, Muhannad, and he, the pronoun he is related to him, to the same person. So we have the same. we have two sentences with the same person, we can omit the subject of the second sentence or the sentence in which we are going to join it or link it with the previous one by putting this form with the comma. Okay, so the base form of the verb run, we double the last letter and we add the ing form. Thank you, Mr. Bassett. Yes, Ms. Hannah?
Another example, he was careful about his diet and ate only healthy food. Also here we can delete and ate can be returned into its space form, eat, then we add the ing.
Okay, so you mean that the verb ate in the past, the base of ate is eat, and
we add the ing, and now the phrase eating only healthy food is to add information to the main sentence, which was he was careful about his diet, eating only healthy food.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Another sentence?
Yes, as a result, he became slimmer and fitter. Dot, he lost 10 kilograms while he was training. Now, we should solve it like this. The second sentence starts with he.
Right.
We should delete it because it's incorrect to repeat the subject twice. Then
Well,
we
it's
use
better in order not to repeat us twice.
Yes.
We shouldn't repeat. We
shouldn't,
should join the
because it
sentences
will,
in
make
order
the
not to
sentence
repeat.
weaker.
Yes.
Okay. We replace the full stop with a comma. Then we get lost to its base form, which is lose. We delete the E. Then we add an ing.
Yes.
That's it. The sentence will become like this. As a result, he became slimmer and fitter, losing 10 kilograms while he was training.
So we use losing instead of
Lost.
he lost.
Yes.
Yes, and we put a comma before it. Thank you very much. Yes,
One
please.
more?
One more?
Yeah. He managed to get plenty of rest. He slept for 8 hours every night. Two separate clauses can be one by omitting the subject he, as he said, because the same subject in the two clauses is not very formal, of course. So we omit he. Slept is returned into its space form, sleep, then we add the ing. The sentence will be like this. He managed to get plenty of rest, sleeping for 8 hours every night.
Thank you very much. Sleeping instead of he slept, and we delete the full stop.
Yes,
we
well,
put
yeah,
a comma.
this is very necessary.
Don't forget to delete the full stop.
Yes.
Dear students, when we join the sentences together and we omit or delete the subject or the subject of the second sentence with the verb, if we have a full stop, we delete it and we put a comma to join
because they were two
sentences.
separate sentences and now they are just one sentence.
Yes, that's right. Thank you very much. Do we have other sentences to
Yes.
clarify the idea?
He managed to get plenty of rest. He slept for 8 hours every night. Now, we omit he, replace the full stop with a comma. Then we return slept to its base form.
Yes,
Then we add ing to the verb.
yes.
It becomes like this. He managed to get
Okay.
plenty of rest, comma,
Yes.
sleeping for 8 hours every night.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, we have other examples. We have other
Yeah.
sentences. Yes, please.
On the day of the race, he felt very confident and got up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yes,
Yes.
right. On the day of the race, he felt very confident and
Got up
get up.
at 6 o'clock in the morning. Also, we have two sentences joined by and.
Yes.
We can make them also one by omitting and, adding the comma as we said, and get, we return it into its space form, then we add the ing.
Do we have any change? Yes.
Yeah, of course. We double the last letter T because here we have consonant, vowel, consonant. We should double the last letter.
Thank you very
Okay,
much. Yes,
welcome.
please, before we continue,
It's
we have
okay.
a phone call
Yeah.
from Rabab. Good afternoon, Rabab. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Rabab.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. And you?
I'm fine, thank you. Yes, please, your question?
Yes. Why do we use the ing form in this lesson?
Why do we?
Why do we use the ing form in this lesson.
The ing form?
Yes.
Why do we use the ing form?
Yes.
Yes, please. Yes, Ms. Hanan.
Okay.
Ms. Hanan is going to answer you, yes?
Okay. The ing form is used to add, first to link two sentences as one. We use it, of course, to add information and to make the two sentences as one. Yes, this is the idea, just to add information, like an adjectival clause, if we can.
Is it clear, dear? Is it clear, the answer? Okay, so as Ms. Hanan said, thank you, Ms. Hanan, for answering this question. As we said at the beginning of the session, that we use this grammar in order to join, to link the sentences together. In order not to add extra information, we have to add information to clarify things and to join the sentences together. That's why we are using this rule. Hope that everything is clear for our dear students. Let's complete, please, by clarifying the idea by more examples.
Fortunately, he was second in the race. He came in a fifth of a second behind the winner.
Yes.
Now the sentence will be like that. Fortunately, he was second in the race, coming in a fifth of a second behind the winner. Now what did we do here?
Yes, what did we do?
We deleted the full stop and replaced it with a comma. Then we deleted the he. Came, get back to its base form. Then we added an ing after deleting the e.
That's right.
The sentence has become like this. Fortunately, he was second in the race, comma, coming in a fifth of a second behind the winner.
Thank you very much. So you mean that when a verb has the e letter at the end of the verb, like come, we have came, we have come, you know, when we add the ing, we delete the e. We have to delete it. Is it clear, dear students? I hope so. We have other examples, I mean, yes?
Here we have to distinguish. We have relative clauses now.
Well, to speak about adding information, as we clarify by many sentences and doing exercise.
Yeah.
Now we continue the grammar by more sentences, by more explanation, but we have things. Well, as you said, the relative clauses.
The relative clauses. First, I'd like to distinguish between the clause and the sentence.
Yes, please.
The sentence should have a subject, a verb, and a full meaning.
You mean three elements? The sentence,
subject. The most important is the subject, the verb, and the complement, whatever it is. But I mean, it should be meaningful. It should be a complete sentence. Okay. The clause is it has the elements, let's say, of the sentence, but at the beginning it has a connector. So that's why we call it a clause.
Yes.
Like, for example, where I live, who met me. What are these? Are these sentences? No, they are clauses because they begin with the connector.
So the clause, you mean that they are like the sentences.
Yes.
They have the verb, okay, but they need connector in order to complete the meaning.
Yeah.
They don't have a full meaning. The clause doesn't have a full meaning.
Yeah.
It needs extra or additional information, a sentence in order to complete the meaning. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Well.
Can I give you an example
Yes,
about
of
a
course.
relative clause? She could beat adults in memory games, which involved numbers. Now, which involved numbers, this is the relative clause, beginning with the connector or the relative pronoun which.
Well, you mean that which is a relative
pronoun, yeah.
Yes, which connects the clause with the sentence.
Exactly. And there is something very important about the relative clauses. They usually come after the noun they describe. So here, which refers to games.
That's
so
right.
it should be directly after the noun it describes.
Thank you very much. Do you have other examples?
Yeah. He is now a PhD student in India where he is doing high-level research. Where he is doing high-level research, this is a relative clause about a place. So the relative pronoun here is where, referring to place. The place it refers to is India. And the relative clause, where he is doing high-level research, comes directly after the word it describes India. Exactly.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, Mr. Bassin?
A relative pronoun is a pronoun that introduces a relative clause. It's called a relative pronoun because it relates to the words that its relative clause modifies.
That's right. Yes. So a relative pronoun is a pronoun. It's
Yes.
a pronoun
Yes.
which introduces a relative clause. That's why we call it a relative clause, because
Yes.
it's introduced by a relative pronoun. Yes? That's right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, what about the relative pronouns? What are they? What the students may ask. You are talking about relative clauses and relative pronouns. So what are they?
We have 6 basic relative pronouns:
Yes.
who, whom, whose, which, that, and where.
Mhm.
Who, subject, and whom, object.
You mean that we use who in order to
for
refer to
subject.
the subject of the
Yes.
sentence,
And whom
we
for-
use whom in order to refer to the object
Object,
in the
yes.
sentence.
And they are generally for people, used for people. Whose is for position,
Okay.
which is for things. That can be used for things and people. So it's preferable,
Yeah,
yes, to replace which and who
with that.
with that.
That's right.
That can be used for things and people, so we can.
We can, yes, use them.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. Well, we have a phone call from Karam. Yes, good afternoon, Karam.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm fine, thank you. Are you following?
Yes?
Have you got any question?
Yes, I want to ask you about question number 5, page 101.
Which book? Is it student
in-
or activity?
In a student book.
Of course, 101 in the student book, yes, right. In the student book, yes, please.
Which one?
Which one?
Which exercise, please repeat?
Exercise number 5.
Exercise number 5, okay? You are welcome. Follow us, please,
Yeah.
and you'll receive
Thank
the
you.
answer.
You answer
Okay,
him?
it's okay. Yeah, let's have the book. Now, sorry. Here we have derivatives. My father is one of the most skillful drivers I know. Between brackets, they say skill, and usually in the exam, they use they put between the brackets skill and skillful and ask the student to choose. So, as you see here, drivers is a noun. It should be preceded by an adjective. Traditional music has lost some of its, let's say, popularity among young people. Also, here we have the possessive adjective its. It should be followed by a noun. So popular between the brackets is an adjective. It should be changed into the noun.
Yes, you mean that we have popular,
an
you
adjective.
derive popularity,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
in B, okay?
Yeah, okay.
B.
See now,
See.
Samir was a very talented jazz trumpet player. Between the brackets we have talent. Talent is a noun. And jazz trumpet player, let's say, should be preceded by an adjective because it's a noun.
So
So
he-
the adjective
Yes.
of talent is talented.
So you mean that students should need where to use the parts of speech.
Exactly.
If the sentence needs a noun
Yeah.
or an adjective.
They should
or-
distinguish.
He should distinguish,
Yeah.
yes, dear students, distinguish between the noun, the adjective, the verb, the adverb. So here Ms. Hanan is doing the derive, she derived, and she's expressing to you. Is it clear, dear Karam, that she's doing the exercise and answer? If you need any repetition, we are ready.
We have more
yes, please.
sentences. He has an amazing, between brackets we have able. It should be ability to multiply large numbers in his head. Also, amazing is an adjective. It should be followed by a noun.
Yes.
That's why we say ability.
Ability, yes. Amazing ability. We said
Exactly.
able, ability.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Able, an adjective. Ability is the noun. Whenever I go on holiday, I like to visit places of historical interest. So history here is a noun. Interest is a noun also. So before a noun, we should use the adjective. That's why we change history into historical, the adjective.
That's right. So as she said, as Ms. Hanan said, thank you very much,
Yes.
between brackets we have a noun. history is a noun, well, we need an adjective, because here we need something to describe a noun. Interest, which is a noun, we need an adjective to describe it. That's why we changed the history into historical.
Yes, the last one. I'd like to be an. Between brackets, we have archaeology. Archaeology is a noun. It's a science, of course, of studying ruins and so. But here we have an. An is followed, the indefinite article should be followed also by a noun. But here we have the doer of the action, not archaeology as a science. So we should say, I'd like to be an archaeologist when I leave university.
What do we do in this sentence in order to change this archaeology into archaeologists?
We add the suffix, of course, ist. We omit y.
We omit the y.
Yes, and add ist to refer to the doer of the action.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Is it clear? I hope that everything is clear for our students.
Yes.
Is it only number 5?
Yeah, that's
okay. Well, we will go back to speaking about clarifying the points about the relative pronouns. We were talking about the relative clauses, and dear colleagues were explaining how we add information and we join sentences by the relative clauses. Okay?
Here, Miss, we have an example of how to use the...
Ms. Hanan, before,
Yes, sir?
we shouldn't forget the word where, which indicates
Yeah.
a place.
Yeah, of course. You,
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
We can use where also as a relative pronoun.
Yes, of course. But now here we have an example about how to join two sentences as one by using the relative clause. So the person who phoned me last night is my teacher. Now in this example, who, why do we use who here? Because it refers to the subject, the doer of the action of the phoned. Who phoned? The person. So we use the connector who for person, in the case of subject of course, to join the two sentences as one. As you see here, who phoned me describes, of course, the word person, so the subject. So it should be immediately after the subject.
Yes.
So here in the above example, as we can say, who relates to the person who phoned me last night. It introduces the relative clause who phoned me last night. And as I said, it should be immediately after the noun it describes or modifies.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
We have another phone call. Yes, please. Good afternoon.
It repeated this one.
Good afternoon, Zahra. We have Zahra. Yes, please. Good afternoon, Zahra.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm fine, thank you. I hope that you are following. We are discussing Unit 12. Have you got any question?
Yes, please.
Yes,
I have
Zahra.
a question. I have a question about exercise number 3, page 101 in student book.
Would you please speak up and repeat your question, please?
Exercise number 3, page 100.
Exercise number 3, page 101
Yes, of
in
course.
student book.
In student book, page 101. Yes, you are welcome. Would you please follow us, and we are going to answer all your questions.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome. Yes, please.
Okay. What's her name?
Zahra.
Follow me, Zahra. In his first marathon, Hani did very well. Now we should start the second sentence with a verb with an ing. In his first marathon, Hani did very well, finishing in 20th place. B. He took 3 hours to complete the race, breaking his own previous record by 6 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Bassem. Sorry for the interruption. Are you following? You notice
Yes.
how we do with this. By using a verb in the ing form, we are joining the sentences together. So be careful that we omit or we delete the full stop and we join the second sentence with the first one, okay? If you have any question, please ask and then interrupt us, okay? You are welcome. So
Thank
yes,
you.
You are welcome. Yes, Mr. Bassem.
Okay? Before the event, he had trained hard and often ran.
This is number C, okay?
This is C,
C.
okay. For 5 hours a day. The sentence will be like this. Before the event, he had trained hard, comma, and we start the second sentence with running for 5 hours a day. Okay?
Yes, we emphasize the comma.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay? Yes,
It's
running.
necessary.
Ms. Hanan?
Would you like to
Number 4.
complete?
Okay.
Yes.
No matter. Just it's
G.
D. Hani is a postgraduate student at the University of Damascus who is studying law. Here we have a relative clause, who is studying law. Can be reduced like this, omit who, omit is, and keep studying. Here we already have studying, but we should also add the comma.
We add the comma
Yeah,
before the word
the ing
studying.
form,
Okay.
as we say.
So how is it going to be, the sentence?
It should be like this. Hani is a postgraduate student at the University of Damascus who is studying law without who.
Studying law.
Yeah.
So Hani is a postgraduate
Yeah.
student at the University of Damascus studying
Studying law,
law.
exactly.
Yes, right, thank you. Next.
Okay, go on.
E.
Hani agreed to run the marathon in December. He told his friends he wanted to collect money for a children's charity. Also, we have two separate sentences. As one, when we link the second with the first, we have here to omit he because it is repeated. Hani, he. Told is returned into its space form tell, and we add the ing form. Don't forget the comma, as we said, at the end of the first sentence. It should be like this. Hani agreed to run the marathon in December, telling his friends he wanted to collect money for a children's charity.
Thank you.
Children's charity.
Yes, next please.
The last one. Hani succeeded in doing this. He collected over 200,000 Syrian pounds. Also here we have two separate sentences. To make them one, we omit he, as we said, the same subject. It can be deleted. So we put comma at the end of the first sentence. Collect can be returned into its space form collect, and we add the ing form. The sentence will be like this. Hani succeeded in doing this, collecting over 200,000 Syrian pounds.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying the idea, and I hope that dear students are following. Well, we have another phone call from Rami. Good afternoon, Rami.
Good afternoon, Miss.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Are you watching and following all the TV programs, especially educational channel?
Yes, Miss.
I hope so. Have you got a question?
Please, I want to ask you about exercise 4 and 5.
4 and 5.
Yeah, page 78.
Page 78. Which book? Which book?
Activity.
Activity book. You are welcome.
Yeah.
Yes, please follow us, and we are going to answer your question. The activity
you.
book. Yes, 71.
Number?
Would you please repeat
3 and 4.
3 and 4? You mean? Follow us, and we are ready.
Okay.
We have just mentioned the sentence.
Number 3.
Yeah, we did it.
Okay, let's
Just
repeat
one
them.
I'll
quickly.
repeat them for you. Muhanna trained hard for the competition. Okay, I'm telling you the answer. Okay?
Okay.
Muhanna trained hard for the competition, running 3,000 meters every evening for 6 months. He was careful about his diet, eating only healthy food. As a result, he became slimmer and fitter, losing 10 kilograms while he was training. D, he managed to get plenty of rest, sleeping for 8 hours every night. E, on the day of the race, he felt very confident, getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. F, fortunately, he was second in the race, coming in a fifth of a second behind the winner. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
About
Would you like Ms.
Number
Hanan
4?
Yeah,
to
number 4.
complete?
Yes, sir. Also, it is about derivatives.
Yes.
My brother is a very, between brackets we have talent, it should be talented basketball player. We need the adjective here because basketball player I mean, is a noun. It should be also preceded by the adjective.
Yes.
That's why we should use here or choose in the exam the adjective.
So dear, you need an adjective, and the talented is an adjective.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay. His greatest strength is his ability to change direction quickly. Also, we have the possessive adjective his. It should be followed by a noun. So that's why we should change, or in the exam they have to choose here. They have to choose ability, of course, because it's a noun.
Because it's a noun. So
Yeah.
the sentence needs a noun,
Yeah.
and the student should put a noun
Yeah.
here in this space.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
right.
Only certain kinds of people have. Here we have between brackets mathematics. It should be mathematical brains,
Yes.
minds. So it should be an adjective. Why? Because brains is a noun, and the noun should be also preceded by the adjective.
And
be described,
mathematical
right?
is an
Yeah,
adjective.
yeah, exactly. The earthquake caused terrible. We have here a verb, destroy. Also here we need a noun, terrible destruction. Because terrible is an adjective, should be also followed here by a noun. Okay. Sorry?
Object.
Yeah, a noun which is an object, you are right. Sorry. Water sports are increasing in, between brackets we have popular. It should be, of course, here popular is an adjective. In the exam, if they have this question, they should use or choose, the noun. Popular is an adjective, the noun is popularity.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
All prepositions are followed by nouns,
they should
like
be
in
careful.
Arabic.
Yeah, they should be careful about
Yes.
this.
In
Very nice.
popularity.
So
Exactly.
all prepositions should be followed
Followed
by
a
by
nouns.
nouns.
Yes, right.
Of course.
Thank you.
Many important, between brackets here at the end we have history, events. We have here events, so we should say many important historical events have taken place here in the last 500 years. The last one, she is very skilled. Here is a noun. We should use, of course, skillful. She, because we are describing her, she. So we should use skillful, not the noun, the adjective.
Well, thank you very much, dear colleagues. We are short of time, and thank you for participating and explaining the grammar, clarifying the things by giving variety of sentences and doing the exercise. I hope that our students get the benefit. Thank you very much,
You're
and
welcome.
I hope to meet you again.
We hope
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Basim. Thank you,
You're
Ms.
welcome, Mr.
Hanan.
Mohammed.
You're
You are
welcome.
welcome. It was a very long journey to come.
No
I
matter.
really
For the
appreciate.
sake of our students, everything is okay.
Thank
Okay.
you for giving me the chance to be with you.
Yes, thank
You are a
you.
lovely, of course, presenter.
It's my luck.
You and Ms. Hanan.
Dear colleagues, dear students, thank you for joining, and I wish you good luck for everything. I hope that you benefit, especially here we are the last unit in your book. Thank you very much. If you have anything, please follow our lessons, follow the channel, because you will get everything you need. And see you again. Goodbye. See you later.